Hi everyone, my name is Jody and this is Rocky. Say hi, Rocky. Rocky and I wanted to talk to you today. We thought maybe we would talk a little bit about being a YouTuber and what is that like and why would I want to do it and what do I want to talk about. So I kind of thought to myself, so many people that I watch talk about different things and I really am very much a generalist. So I feel like I want to talk about a little bit of everything. Today, I want to talk about making Aliyah because really I think that was my most popular video. People really want to know what it's like to pick up and move from Toronto, Canada, and move to Israel or move to a different country. What's it like? I have to say that it is challenging, but I do love it. I'm very glad that I made the move. I'm very glad for my child that I made the move. Not only does he speak another language fluently, unlike his mother, but he got a chance to be in the army and he really learned a lot. He was not somebody that would be fighting because he's an only child. The government would require special things that I wasn't about to agree to anyhow, but whatever. He had interesting jobs. He did enjoy himself. He learned. He got, I think, stronger in so many ways. But it's a small part of why we chose to be here. Well, I think honestly, I don't know if I could have moved here if I thought he was going to have to be in the army and be a fighter. Because how can you bring a kid from Canada and that you've never really discussed it with him before and all of a sudden put him in the army and he has to, thank goodness there was no big war going on or anything while he was in the army. I'm very grateful for that. Anyhow, I do like living in Israel. There are good things and bad things. One of the things, of course, the most difficult thing for most people is the language. Trying to learn the Hebrew language is really hard. It's a very tough language to learn. And when you get to a certain point in your life, it's like my brain has no space for this kind of stuff. Plus, all my friends are English speakers. I think I've mentioned before, when I do speak Hebrew, they answer me in English anyhow. And now I can say, and I'm an English teacher. I teach in a little Arab village. So I'm teaching children and teenagers and adults, different kinds of levels. And I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit of a commute to get there, but well worth it. I really feel that the pay is good. My bosses are amazing. It's interesting because they're two young guys, they're like 24 years old. They've been doing this for a number of years and they really felt that teaching English to people will be the universal language for everybody and they want people to communicate in an even way, that it isn't an Arabic language, it isn't in Hebrew, and it's this new language for them. And they do pick it up pretty quickly, and I give them a lot of credit. We have a ton of students at this school. It's actually not a school, it's like a community center, so they come after school or after work. And it's really been a great experience for me to be able to be a part of this. I went from working 2 days a week in the afternoon, evenings, and now I'm working 4 days, so I really appreciate it. They're very happy with me, thank goodness, and I am happy with them. So all in all, it's a very good experience. Did I ever in my life think that I was going to be a teacher? Did I ever want to be a teacher? No. Don't want to be a teacher. But now that I'm doing it and I'm experiencing the joy of what it's like to give something to somebody and see the light go on and they get it, and I really love that. I mean, I do all kinds of things with them. I'm not working with any kind of curriculum or any kind of book, so we make it up as we go along, and that's kind of interesting. So you got to be pretty creative to have each lesson appeal to different people. And then, I come up with silly things like the cup game. At the end of the class for the last 15 minutes, we're tossing a cup up and down, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what age the kids are, young kids, teenagers, everybody loves this game. They're like, cup game, really? And then they're hitting that cup up and and they get very excited. Everybody has fun. It's a little bit of a workout for everybody, and we all enjoy it. And in the meantime, when they're hitting the cup, they're counting numbers out loud, or sometimes I change it to name a fruit when you hit it, something like that, so there's some language involved in it. But also it's just so it's fun. Anyhow, I hope the sound is on because really, I'll be very unhappy. I don't want to do it again. Okay, so living here in Israel, in Nahariya, a small little city where everybody knows your name or knows who you are. Most people. I always think I must know everybody here, although there's probably over 65,000 people in this city. It feels like it's small. You know, I go to this pub called the BK Pub, and it's like it's not a pickup place or anything, so you can kind of just go, relax, and again, everybody knows who you are. You go once or twice, and everybody's so friendly to you and always happy to see you, and it's really nice because I'm not somebody who would normally go to a bar. I did when I was younger in Toronto, but not here because everybody's really young in the bars, and okay, I'm not so young. It makes me laugh because people always ask you how old you are. It's like nobody ever told them don't ask a woman how old she is. Here, everybody asks you how old you are. Today in class, we have a new semester, so new students, and we were asking them questions about their family and things just to see the level at which they could speak. And then they're like, can we ask you questions? I'm like, okay, how old are you? I'm like, really? That's what you want to know about me? How old I am? And then when I tell them I'm 59, they're like, oh, really? They're so surprised. So I guess that's good, but whatever, young kids, they don't really have a concept of age. It just sounds old to them. So I'm enjoying life here. It's stressful, but no more stressful than living anywhere else. You know, is money an issue? Always. No matter where I've lived, money's an issue. Is the weather an issue? This year we've had a really tough winter for us. We've had a ton of rain. Nahariya was literally like flooded. We even had a death here where someone was trying to save some people in a car that they were trapped in, and he got them free and ended up being swept away, which was really sad. The city looks kind of like crap right now for a pretty little city that it always reminded me of like what Florida would have looked like in the 1930s or 40s, all the white pillars and things like that, and the river running down the main street. Very nice. But all of the boxes that we had, tons and tons of flower boxes that you could sit around the edge, all the cement and all the flowers in the center, everything was stripped down because of the problem with the flooding. There seemed to be that the pipes underneath were not working, and that's one of the problems that caused the flooding. So our one mall in the city of Nahariya, well, there is another mall, it's the old mall, but it's a little bit further away. The mall that's close to us was shut down for about, under repair for almost 2 months because the way it was built, there were some problems, and the underground parking lot, flooded the whole first level of the mall. I mean, flooded it. People lost everything in there. People that were trapped in there, the army had to come to get them out. They had all these big trucks coming out to get people from the mall, to take them out of the mall and bring them to an area of the ground that wasn't flooded. You know, if it's on a bit of a slant, it was more flooded, and if it wasn't, then it was a little bit safer. And of course, being Canadian, it did not stop me from going out in the rain, in the water, on my bike that was about up to my knees, and I still managed to get out and around and do the things I needed to do. One night I was like, okay, the power's out in my building, some of the buildings around here, but I need to get some food, so I'm going out. And I went out and I went to the center of town. Everything was closed. I was the only person out on the streets. I mean, I felt like I was crazy. I was like, what's wrong with people? How can they shut down, you know? Shut down everywhere except for me. Anyhow, so I learned that Canadians were strong, polite. I've learned how to be not so polite so that I can get things done and not be pushed around by Israelis, because sometimes we're a little bit pushier here to get things done. They have no patience, and they want to have an answer now when it's not their turn to get an answer. When you're in the doctor's office, this is crazy. You're in the doctor's office, people are knocking on the door. They're like, they want to ask just a quick question. You could be naked in there. They don't care. Knock on the door and they want to come in. The doctors are pretty good. They do kind of ignore it. But when you're at a bank and you're waiting in line for the teller, your turn comes up, you go up. It doesn't stop people from coming up. You're talking about your money and what's going on, but no, people have to get up and walk right up to the teller like you're not even there, asking questions. No, they don't want to wait for their turn. Okay, fine. The tellers are just as bad because they answer them. They don't say, excuse me, could you please wait in line so you could have your turn? No, they answer their questions. So it makes everything so much longer. Hence the wanting to have patience. I mentioned before, I think in another video, that if you are in a restaurant and you do not ask for the bill, you will be there forever. They will never just bring you the bill. I know in Canada, the minute they see you having coffee and dessert, the bill just slips right in. Here, no. Doesn't matter if there's a lineup outside, you will stay there until you ask for the bill. And that is something that you have to learn right away. Even as a tourist, you must say, Slicha, heshbon bevakasha, that please, excuse me, may I have my bill? Because otherwise you're just going to wait there. Now, if you're not in a hurry, that's fine. But if you actually want to leave the restaurant that night, you need to say that. Look at that, my Hebrew. I speak it like a foreigner. My son's pretty good. His accent's pretty good, I think. Although he says his friends sometimes still make fun of him, but he's pretty good. I think sometimes even when he speaks English, he speaks with an Israeli accent. So it's kind of amusing. People always ask me, what do your dogs speak? I said, they speak English. I have cats that walk with me. Some of them are my cats. And when I go to take the dogs out for a walk, the cats follow. So that's very interesting for people because people either love cats here or hate them. We don't have a lot of rats and mice because there are so many feral cats outside. And the cats do protect us from all of those things. Rocky, say hi, say hi, say hi. He's so sweet. But he wants me to hold him all the time. Right, little guy? I'm sorry. I get sidetracked easily by the love of my animals. I do have a lot of animals. About 5 more than I really need to have. I have 5 cats and 2 dogs. And the dogs are mostly smaller than the cats. But they're noisier. All I know is, as much as I love animals, and I wish that in some ways I could live on a big house or a big farm so I could save all the cats, they're so messy. Everything's so messy. It's so hard to keep everything clean. But I do encourage people to at least take 1 cat off the street if you can, or a kitten that you find when you're living here. Because, you know, they're so hard for them to survive. I've been very lucky. Well, I've been able to help a lot of animals. I am the mother of cats. Not the mother of dragons, but the mother of cats and dogs. Right? How could you not love that face? Look at that little tongue. He's so cute. I love him. Rocky, Mommy loves you. He knows that. He sleeps with me. He knows that. So I'm always, ever since he was a baby, I always used to worry about rolling over on him. But so far, we're good. No problem yet, right? If I did roll over on him, I'm sure he'd squeak and squeal, whatever, but hopefully that will never happen. And I do see he's still got some pink in his hair from when I was painting something, a table pink, and he ran into the table, got pink, but he will not let me cut it out. So I'm just leaving him with pink. It adds a little color to him. I like it like that. Anyhow, very soon it will be 8 years since I've been here in March. March 5th is when we arrived. And it's been an interesting 8 years. And in some ways, it feels like forever. And in other ways, it feels like it was yesterday. I remember getting off that plane with all of our animals and our luggage. We had 14 suitcases. We did not have a lift, so we did not bring our furniture or anything with us. We started out brand new, which is great in a lot of ways. It's not great for everybody. But if you are somebody looking to make Aliyah and you want to move to Israel, I did work for Nefesh B'Nefesh, and they are an organization that helps people to move here, along with the Jewish Agency. I don't work for them anymore, but I do have some knowledge that I seem to have remembered. Also, my own opinion on different things about living in Israel and what it was like to move here. I have a blog that I had written, and again, not really publicizing it at all, but I've had probably, listen, when you have a lot of views, you have a lot of views. I've had about 50,000 views for the blog, and it's called Yes, I'm Really Moving to Israel. And I keep thinking I should start writing again. Every once in a while I drop a piece in. People are really interested in what it's like, because I think a lot of people that made videos about moving to Israel or making Aliyah, they kind of did it like maybe what it's like to actually move, the day of moving or the day of packing and moving, one day of being here. I don't think that they did something that was continual, so you could see what it was like, what their life was like once they got here, what the housing was like, things like that. There's very many different levels of rent here. It seemed, when I first heard about the rent, it seemed like it was very cheap. So let's say if you're paying 3,000 or 4,000 shekels, you know, that's more like $1,500. And you think, well, that's so cheap, right? But the fact is, when you are living with shekels, and that's the way you're getting paid, it's a lot of money. So they get you for all kinds of different things. The electricity is very, very expensive here. But in the summer, we have solar. It heats our water. So right now, in the colder months, you have to turn on something called the dude, and it heats up the boiler. So you have to wait for the warm water. But that's only for a few months. After that, the sun is out and you have hot water all the time. The water is not so expensive, but the electricity is a killer. If you want to have, like I have central, so for the winter, I did not turn on the heat. What I did was I bought a little, well, not a little heater, but one that looks like a little fireplace. It's really cute. And I put that on when I'm in the room that I'm in. And for bed, I get under a lot of covers and turn on my little heater, and I'm fine. Because otherwise, it just gets so expensive. Like when I had the air conditioning on in the summer, and it would cool every room. Well, I didn't need it to cool every room, but that's the way it was set up in this apartment. It was a fortune, and that put me so in debt. In debt, yes. Well, I'm always in debt, but a lot of people are in debt here. It's just the way things go. Things are expensive. Is it more expensive than another country? Yes and no. Different things are expensive here where they may not have been expensive in Canada or in Toronto, and the other way around. You know, one of the things here that's a little bit harder to adjust to is the fruit. The fruit here is seasonal. They don't really import fruit. Whatever season it is, that's the fruit you're eating. So when it first comes in, the first few weeks that it comes in, like strawberries, it'll start off like for a basket of strawberries, for example, 35, 40 shekels. Now, it's been around, the strawberries have been around, and I remember seeing the same basket today for like 15 shekels. And really, the funny thing is, they taste better now than when they first come in the season. And you're paying so much, so I hardly ever buy them at the beginning of the season. But at this time, I buy them all the time, and they're really good. I remember people telling us, oh, the dairy's so good here in Israel. You know what? When you come from a city like Toronto, everything is at your fingertips. So you can have anything of any taste, any time of the night or day. So you get spoiled. So is the dairy good here? It's okay. It's dairy. It's not, we don't have that old, like, in Toronto, we used to get the old cheddar that was really like almost like dry, like the Balderson's 20-year or whatever it was, and it was amazing. You don't really find that here. There are places you can go for like a cheese market, and you can get some better cheese, and it's expensive. But, you know, these are such small things. The fact that I live 7 minutes away from a beach, this is huge to me. Huge. The fact that I am by the Mediterranean, I mean, that makes everything for me. I don't know. It doesn't get any better than that. When I go to the beach alone, with friends, whatever, and it's beautiful and it's sunny and I'm lying on the beach, and then I go in the water and it's warm and you walk in and people go, oh, you go swimming? I go, no, I go floating. I have one of those little tubes that keeps you, I mean, not that the water's not going to keep you afloat anyhow, it's salt water, but I like that. I put it underneath me and I just lie there and I could float around in the ocean. Or in the sea, and so happy. And then I come out, and it's there, and you can buy a snack or whatever, or people are having picnics all over on the beach. And, I mean, when I have days like that, there is nothing that makes me happier than that, really. I just love it, and I really feel re-energized for the rest of the week. If I'm in a bad mood or something, and even in the winter, if I go down and just watch the water, hear the sound of it hitting the rocks on the side. So wonderful. We have a lot of music here in the summer. A lot of very popular singers come here for free concerts, and people come from all over to see the concerts. And it's just great. You know, the funny thing is, you know how people like camp out to go to a big concert or something or to see somebody? Not here. Starts at 8 o'clock. The guys come on about 8:30. People get here at like 8:15. And then all of a sudden it's like a big mass of people. But it's great. And I got to say that we love that. Last year, for the first time ever, there was a big beer festival. I don't drink beer, but it was still a lot of fun. There was music and so many people and different stands of food and things. And all the holidays are always like big in the streets. For Purim, where people dress up in costumes, which is any moment now. It just reminds me I need to do some work on that holiday because I'm helping out an organization doing some centerpieces, so I better get working on that. Anyhow, I like to be involved in these things, although I'm working and I can't go to the party, but I'm preparing things for the party. Okay, anyhow, the streets, the kids start wearing costumes in the streets days and weeks before. So it's really cute. You see all these little costumes walking around, and very much like any country, things become commercialized. So the kids are wearing Superman, Spider-Man, things like that. Even though the holiday originates from things like kings and princesses and things like that, and that time, here the kids wear everything. And the funny thing is, every store eventually turns into a costume store. Doesn't matter what they sold all year round. Purim, they turn into costume stores. So you can get a costume anywhere. I don't think I'm going to do a costume this year because there's nowhere for me to go. Anyhow, I better say goodbye because it's already like 21 minutes. Please reach out to me at Jody Garb, JodyGarbe, Jody Garb at hotmail.com. If you have any questions about Aliyah, please, I'm here to help you. Good, bad, ugly, I will be totally honest. You can ask me anything and I will answer you honestly. And I will tell you how much it costs to live here and if I think you can afford it, because that was part of my job, to advise people. How hard is it to get a job? I will answer you honestly. Just ask me, okay? Thank you again so much for listening. And since I've decided to talk about so many things, tomorrow or the next day when I get a chance will be something else. But thank you very much. Say goodbye, Rocky. Bye, Rocky. Bye-bye.